Hey everybody, this is Petey from the Spinner Rack, and today I'm going to do a thing of comic book previews. I'm not going to give you too much information, but I'm going to preview the books. Actually, not all the comic books. Basically, Image Comics sends us a preview of what they're putting out. It's by, I believe, well, I don't know if the person wanted to say, but thankfully the people at Image Comic Books have been sending us these previews and we've been checking out their books. The books that I have on hand, instead of going through my entire collection of comic books and showing you all the Image comics I bought over the years that aren't boxed and polybagged, I have this Tim Sale book, black and white. There was 2 editions, the revised one by Image Comics. This is a definitely gorgeous book. I had to buy it when they said it had another edition of all of his work. I think the Image work he did, I know he did, what's that thing? Death Blow. I'm not sure what else he did for Image, but I'm glad Image did this one. Now an Image trade, which is actually Leave It to Chance by James Robinson and Paul Smith. This is a great book to have. Great X-Men artists doing sort of very clean and clear storytelling. Um, and then we have sort of Cal Baker doing his army version of Sin City, Babes, Brutes, and all of the sort of talking about all the subject matter that's going on today and the classic sort of story and sort of giving us this really stuff we saw that was in his Nat Turner book, but sort of cynical, sort of a satire of army stuff. So it's classic like the EC books, but it's definitely a satire. I'm definitely having fun with the army stuff, having the babe walking around and that sort of stuff. So that gives you a little background on some of the Image stuff I have. Now we're going to get into my previews, right? Doing previews today? Yes. So thank you guys for being here. Please like and subscribe and all that stuff and comment. So these are the books I'm checking out. And I saw this preview of, I'm going to start with this Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips book, Friend of the Devil. This is one of their Reckless series. Have you seen their trade? Now, he's come into the limelight recently because of Falcon and Winter Soldier and the prospects of creator-owned versus doing stuff for work for hire. This is his creator-owned stuff. The success of Winter Soldier and all of his Marvel stuff led to, I know he had some success beforehand, but then you see him being able to do this series of books. And this Friend of the Devil is definitely a very clean, clear storytelling in here. Definitely a book to pick up and check out, right? So you got this nice, clean stuff. It's rough. It's definitely rough, but you really get what's going on. That what happens is very clear and clean. So this checking out wise, something you should definitely check out. Definitely a nice looking book. I wanted to point out this Rick Remender, just because he always just sort of does some interesting stuff. There's always stuff. I usually like some of the stuff he did with Kieran Dwyer, but ultimately he kind of does some cool stuff. So I would just recommend checking him out. And checking out. We'll just go. This is by artists. With him was Wes Craig, and this has some interesting sort of storytelling here. Something that I think the Hollywood kind of look at and kind of translate and say, oh, we could do this. But I feel it's very interesting for a comic book to sort of set up these establishing shots and whatnot, leading us to these characters and the subject matter that's going to be here. And there's another, even though it's rougher stuff, it's very much pretty work and very clear and that what's going on here, right? And that's usually what I go for to try to drag me into a book, something that's like some really clean and clear storyline. But now I'm going to go to the other end. This book, kind of, wow, this is my pick of the week. And there's Redneck. I didn't know anything about it, but it's volume 5. Donny Cates, we'll be seeing Donny Cates' name a couple of times. Lisandro Esterin is the artist. I can't believe there's 5 volumes of this, but when I saw this cover, I was like, oh, I got to check this out. And then I opened it up to Redneck, and I saw this page and I was just like knocked over. Like some dark stuff is happening here, but I'm all for it. It has Mignola, and now this goes to the other end. This is rough stuff. This isn't clear. It's melee. It's bedlam, but it's cool. So, and then I was going for. I was like checking this out. There's another cool shot, and then I got here and I said, "Oh, something's going on in this book. I'm gonna have to check this out because it looks very interesting." Right? So, give you that. Redneck, definitely something to check out. Deadly Cut. Did I put it back? Put that back. We have Shadecraft. Now, I've read issue 1 of Shadecraft. I definitely recommend this book. This book I wasn't expecting to like. I was watching it. I think it's Zadie and her friend Ricky. It is like a teenage thing with horror, but it's has a lot of charm to it. I wasn't expecting to like it, but at the same time, I got to the end of the first issue and I was kind of wowed. So this book, I'm coming back and we're going to review it. It's only issue 2, so you can get issue 1, check it out. As far as I want to go, I don't want to go through too many pages because that would ruin everything. But this is by Joe Henderson and Lee Garbett. And let's see. Right here, this is as far as I'm going. This is Zadie. And I'm going to just say to you, since it's shadow, you see that shadow on her. It's a hint of what could happen. Could it be terrible? But this is all just throw away the whole plot. So I want to leave some mystery. I want you to come back, read it, and come talk to me because I think this is kind of the breakout image book. That's just a fun book. And yeah, I mean, this looks like it's going to be great. Something that can easily translate, especially the horror elements. But let's put it back. That's it, Shadecraft. And what else is here that I'm going for? All right. Let's crossover. Now, crossover's on issue 6. I just checked this out. If you see this effect, they use this sort of dot matrix, sort of full color effect throughout this book. But I'm not a fan of crossovers. I've said that before, but this is interesting. It has a lot of image characters that are in it. I know Savage Dragon's in here and Invincible and such. So it's another book by Donny Cates. It just looks interesting. So I wanted to put this up there because I don't know much about it. I'll have to go back and see if I have the other issues of crossover. But it's definitely something I would check out to see if it's interesting. And this is another one with John Cruden. He usually does the BRPD books. Not this one. He does the Hell on Earth stuff. He's with Mignola. I'm not sure if he's still doing it, but they have a long run with on that. But now he's at Image. Or he's always at Image. He did I think he did a bunch of stuff. He did Gen 13 for a little while. So, but this book is definitely, the art is gorgeous and definitely something to check out. And or as my father would say, magnificently ugly. So now we got through the stuff for this week. Now we're going back, since this is the first time I've done sort of previews on each image books. Some of the stuff that I've been interested in, that I want to check, that I'm either checking out, I'm planning on reviewing, and I'm liking, right? So we go to our past. You know what it is. The Old Guard, Tales Through Time, right? So this is Rucka and Fernandez, and you know, with all our classic Old Guard characters. So we're definitely going to review this. You guys have come and watched our reviews. I think they're talking trilogy of this as far as comics go, but there's one movie. Hopefully there'll be more. And yeah, I can't say any more about this, but obviously these characters, that sort of art, the art's just getting better and better as the series goes on. You know, the sort of Eduardo Rizzo type art slash, you know, Mignola slash Miller, all that type of stuff. So I don't want to give away too much of this because we got to review this. So let's keep going. Another book that I need to go back and check through is Post Americana. I always check out stuff by Steve Scroce. And the book I really like was it, I think it's Stand on Guard for Thee. I think it's a book of sort of Canadian resistance, and he also had another series of like a sorcerer. And this is his current series for Image. Post Americana. I'm just going to go quickly. Dave Stewart's doing color, and this is, you can see in the Doc Frankenstein, they got to sort of the wacky sort of thing, and this is getting to the funny animal characters, the Bigfoot stuff that seem to creep into Steve Scrose's work, but that doesn't mean that it's not good. Then you get sort of his dark thing, and he's getting a very much a Jeff Darrow quality to his art, almost like it's like a monthly Darrow, which would be cool, but he's also such a great artist in his own right. So, right, and this is approved, so you get all these cool things. Only thing I think someone who did something close to this was Keith Giffen in the what's that book? It was called Justice League Europe. Let's keep going. We have Moonshine, Brian Azzarello and Eduardo Rizzo. This is Gangsters and Werewolves, 24 issues in. This is the 100 Bullets team. They've also done, I think, Spaceman. They've done a bunch of other things, but this is the premier book that's not picked up. I don't know if it's picked up yet, but it is definitely a great book, right? And hopefully I'll do a review of this whole series. Keep going. And we got Howard Chaykin, still drawing comics from originally from Star Wars fame, the Star Wars comic, and also infamous for the Black Kiss comic, right? But he has been on a tear, producing comic books and stuff for Image, stuff I think for Dynamite, I believe. But he's been on a tear, and this is no different. It's classic storytelling, classic stuff that you've seen in The Dark Knight, and all of the Image books. And this is no different. His lettering, his use of lettering, all that stuff. Okay, what else? I only got a couple other things left. Do I have? I think I should have one more, right? So we have The Good Asian. Obviously, there's going to be some people that are going to try to cancel it for this title, but this is a definite period piece, and it's a gorgeous looking period piece, right? And here, this is just give you a hint of what's going on. This is definitely a book. When I saw it, I said, I'm going to have to buy this and check this out. It's just, look at that. Look at this sort of storytelling that's in this, right? And it's a period piece, but they're doing some new sort of cool stuff, right? And the last two, we have Scott Snyder and Tony Daniels' book, Nocterra. Now, I don't know what this book is about. It's on issue 2. I think they had a Kickstarter. I'm not sure. I think it was a Kickstarter. But I mean, these guys both worked on Batman separately, both as writers, and probably worth a check out. I mean, Tony Daniels, his style has changed from when I first saw him, but I'm back when he didn't know anatomy, he didn't know any of that stuff, and he was just a brilliant storyteller. Look at his X-Force stuff, his early stuff for Image, even though he was following Alan Moore's layouts and Spawn Blood Feud. This is a titan of the industry. He's been doing comics forever, and he is like not forever, from the 90s, and he's gotten the notoriety for his talents. And but ultimately, I think it was just, look at that. This stuff looks interesting. I'm not sure what it's about, but I saw this in the pile, and I was like, oh, I forgot about this. I got to check it out. So you should check it out too, because these guys are the titans. They're doing something different, because Batman was the title for the New 52. It was the most successful, and these two guys were both writers on Batman. So I think Snyder was on a regular Batman title. Tony Daniels was writing Detective, and he wrote Batman while who's that guy with Grant Morrison from time to time. He drew it, but he also wrote some stories. And the last book we're going to go to is Geiger, which is from Johns and Gary Frank. This is the post-Doomsday Clock book. If you like that stuff, this is like Dr. Manhattan. they're sort of they're not the same thing, but sort of their take, doing their own sort of character with that sort of power, right? So yeah, all that element of stuff, the Doomsday Clock, is in this book. Now, I was more of a fan of the slicker Gary Frank, but his art is always good. It's always something worth checking out, right? So, what's my breakout books? The Good Asian, something I can't wait to check out. Old Guard, right? We're doing Shadecraft, and we're definitely doing Redneck. But all of these books in this preview are my recommends, all of them. That's my four that are my two of my breakout, two of my things that I want you to read, and two that I'm definitely checking out. But that's a good array of books to pick out, like five from this month, this week, and then stuff from the past that I'm liking. Okay, spin a rack out.